Thank you for joining me on the journey. This is Completed Christianity. So welcome back. Another episode of Being Complete. And today is Shabbat, our validation of the law commentary. And today we continue on with our study in the book of Romans. And we're going to have Paul here, me being from Texas. We're going to have Paul here going full Texan on us with the word reckon. Okay, so we read the first two verses last time. And verse 2, let it not be. How shall we who died to sin still live in it? So in this, take a look at the theme of death, of dying, and in this is part of this legalese that we've been talking about through this whole book of Romans, that it's the most legalistic book that we have, and it's legalistic in a good way, not in the bad way that's normally talked about, although it's misapplied. The legalism that's bad is that legalism is going to save you. Legalism is not going to save you. Only the blood of a Messiah is going to save you, in that you're justified from your sins so that you can walk out or work out that salvation, as Paul says. Or do you not know that as many of us as were immersed into Messiah were immersed into his death? So immersed or baptized, it's a complete immersion, not a sprinkling, but complete immersion in water to identify with his death. We were therefore buried with him through immersion into death, that as Messiah was raised from the dead by the esteem of the Father, so we should also walk in newness of life. So being dead first brings newness of life, just like Messiah says that unless a seed falls in the ground and dies, that it can't bring forth much fruit. So we're to fall in the ground, as in under the water, into a place where we can't live, we can't save ourselves under the water. Okay? We can't breathe the water. We have to come back up. We have to raise back up into new life. For we have come to be grown together in the likeness of his death. For if we have come to be grown together in the likeness of death, we shall be also of the resurrection. So when we're in his death, we grow into the same thing as the likeness of his death. When we're in that, then we'll also be of the resurrection. So if we're of his death, we're of his resurrection. Of death, of the resurrection. Knowing this, that our old man was impaled or crucified with him, so that the body of sin might be rendered powerless to serve sin no longer. So once again, I'm not dogmatic on impaled or crucified. If there were only two nails, they're both for his hands. That's in the text, although indirectly. Thomas says that he wanted to put his fingers in the holes that the nails had made, nails plural. So that the body of sin might be rendered powerless. Okay, so our old man crucified, impaled, dead. Our old man's dead, so that the body of sin might be rendered powerless. So the body is to die. So we're to die to the self, to self desires, to selfish desires, to serve sin no longer. For he who has died has been made right from sin. Died, made right from sin. So in baptism, put on his death, then we're made right from sin. Our sin is passed over. Our sin is justified. But this is after faith in his blood atonement. And if we died with Messiah, we believe that we shall also live with him, knowing that Messiah, having been raised from the dead, dies no more. Death no longer rules over him. So death no longer rules over him. If we died with him, then death no longer rules over us, that we shall be resurrected in that day, in his day. For in that he died once to sin. He died to sin once for all. But in that he lives to the mighty one. So you also reckon yourselves indeed to sin, but alive to the mighty one in the Master Yahshua Messiah. So you also reckon yourselves to be dead. So Paul reckons. He reckons himself to be dead. I reckon to be dead. So here's the thought. So many people in the Christian mindset, when we have the Christian mindset, we're like, oh no, that Sabbath, you can't do that. Oh, that Sabbath, that's a burden. You know, oh, that feels like bondage. Well, yeah, because you're used to your sin of breaking that Sabbath. That's why it feels like bondage, because you're in sin. You're trying to give up the sin, the law breaking. The sin is the law breaking. 1 John 3:4, that the sin is transgression of the law. So sin is law breaking. So when you break the law, then to go back to keeping it, it feels like bondage. But the thing is it's actually freedom in the Spirit. More freedom in the Spirit. To walk in greater freedoms in the Spirit. But when you reckon yourself to be dead, then you don't have to. What worry is there about keeping a Sabbath? Oh, that's bondage. Well, then you're not dead. If you think it's bondage, if you think that anything that the Father desires from you is bondage, then you're just not dead. You're still alive. You're still alive in your trespasses and sins. Psalm 89:34, my covenant I will not break nor alter the word that has gone out of my lips. If you like the video, give us a thumbs up. Comment down below. Comments of opposition are welcome. Just don't say anything dumb like we're not under the law. We're to grace because you've been taught to use that verse outside of the bounds of its intended context. Subscribe now. Smash that subscribe button and ring that bell so that you get notifications of all future videos.